he now at least has a quote unquote stun in the Sinister Gaze, so it is something to help stop TPs, which helps lane domination quite a bit. And it's sort of a pseudo hex in the way that it's like an instant cast. You get an Aether Lens or something, it can do a lot of work in a team fight at those clutch moments. But if they're not executing, you're right. It's just it doesn't feel that great. However, the other great thing about this duo is that it's not all about the ultimates, because you get this like Doom or this Centaur Warrunner is probably the most popular one you guys have seen in pubs, and you ink swell him and you give him the Frost Armor, and he just runs at people, and he's gonna end up stunning them, dealing damage, slowing them all, and controlling the whole team fight from there. So there's a reason one of these two usually gets banned.
Yeah, it is. It's disgusting. Like, they banned the Jug. I think that's one of the best combos with Inkswell and Frost Shield. Oh, God.
How about a natural blink? That's pretty good.
That's let me get right on top of you with Frost Shield and Inkswell, and you're not getting away. That's, oh God. This already looks like Secret having a draft they're gonna have not only fun with, but execute real well. Like, we've seen this before.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, they need a hero that was good versus Phoenix, and you can see that Thunder Predator banned away the Juggernaut, who is someone who can just spin and kill the egg, which is very helpful. However, you can't spin if you're silenced, so the Earth Spirit might get you there, and then has a little bit of a harder time building up from Battle Fury into a Manta versus someone like the Anti-Mage that can do it faster because of his blinking around the map and everything. So it's all about the Manta, at least so far this game for Secret.
I just see Anti-Mage with such a high win rate recently, where it's just like you see teams that, and I think it's more against, we just see a lot of teams that struggle to finish early enough. But yep. Anti-Mage right now is almost that Spectre of yesteryear, where you get to the late game with Anti-Mage, where you used to get to the late game with Spectre, and 85% of games are going to go your way, maybe even more.
And I'm not sure if they fixed the patch, or if they patched it with the, if you activate the spell shield, you actually get another instance of the magic resistance on Anti-Mage, which is pretty crazy. So it goes up to like 80% or something whenever, for that like brief little second. So already though, just with his passive, the way it's supposed to be, he already reduces a lot of that. So they end up going for the Enigma. Now we talked about how the Sinister Gaze is indeed a stun now, but it is a pretty short range. This might force him in towards an Aether Lens now. But at the same time, it also doesn't pierce BKB. So it's a pretty solid looking Enigma game. A lot of team fight.
Is this
10 seconds
utility remaining. Enigma, where we see like Guardian Greaves and Pipe, or is this more Enigma where we see BKB Blink? Because there's,
I think it still depends, right? It depends on the last couple of heroes here for Secret. It also depends on how the game flow starts. The lane already looks a little awkward for this Enigma, because now we have Earth Spirit, Phoenix, and Enigma. And so, in my eyes, this, I don't even know where this Phoenix goes. Like, safe lane Phoenix feels pretty bad with a carry. He doesn't support that well in that role. But Earth Spirit kind of needs to lane for a little bit, right? But Enigma is naturally going to be pulling his lane back, so you can't really play aggressive on people with the Earth Spirit. It's a little unusual. So curious to see how they round out the laning stage here. And we talked about how after that last destructive defeat, how are they going to make this laning stage better?
Yeah, and I think Enigma is one of those heroes that does make your laning stage kind of by default better. Where you've got, the demonic conversion, you're giving less experience away to your opponent in that lane. And you start to find yourself a little bit ahead. But Weaver coming out for Secret, so this is off lane Weaver with the safe lane Anti-Mage. But I'm kind of feeling maybe a lane swap with the Anti-Mage, but it doesn't have to be that way.
They have the final pick, so depending on what Thunder Predator puts, you might even see Medusa. You might even see Anti-Mage go to the mid lane, kind of like we saw with those games at the minor. We had a couple AM mids when the right matchup was there, like a Medusa or something like that. So I have to see. It'll be the Tiny. Okay, definitely a very strong laning hero. And since they don't have the last pick of the game, you want one of those last really good flex picks, or just like always has good matchup kind of deals. So Tiny, Lena might be something we see banned here too, but at this point, we're assuming it's more like a position 1 hero that's left for Thunder Predator, and it'll be Tiny mid.
Yeah, I am on and off on how I feel about Tiny mid. He doesn't. Tiny just doesn't seem to be a hero that recovers all too well. He's definitely one of those heroes that really starts. It has a much better time. Obviously, every hero does have a much better time when they get ahead, but he thrives with a little bit of a lead. Whereas we see Tiny, just the second he gets behind, it feels like he doesn't do as much. You know, you want him to get that blink dagger, get involved, kill these supports, and start really rolling away with the advantage that he's got.
Yeah. Notoriously bad Weaver game was actually Secret at TI, where Ace got obliterated. Like, so many times by a Tiny on Weaver over and over and over again at the start of the game, and he just had no chance. But as you were pointing out, this isn't going to be like that full-out position 1 Weaver. This is going to be a little bit more utility. Basically, like, double nuisance in the side lane using the Phantom as well as the bugs. So really frustrating to play into. And more of that utility build, probably like looking towards an Agnum Scepter or something like that.
Remaining.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you, do we see Weaver get Ags in the offlane still?
5 seconds remaining.
But Weaver,
it'll depend. He might be forcing like almost aura-y stuff this game.
They banned the Kunkka last for Thunder Predator, which is a big pick mid, but definitely a favorite pick for Chinese teams that I've been seeing a lot. They love Kunkka mid. It's control, it's good team fight, and really good in lane. And they go Phantom Assassin, a hero a lot of people have been saying isn't as good without the Magnus, and we see it here, of course, without the Magnus.
They don't have any additional minus armor, which is a little awkward. There's no Starladder or anything. They have a lot of team fight, but it's not that easy to execute team fight. I mean, Secret nailed it with that ban. Like, I'm pretty sure they probably... I mean, personally, I would have liked to see Faceless Void over the Tiny pick, and then I would have went back for a more range-centric mid-hero like the Lina or something to work with a Chronosphere. And I feel like I then feel better about this lineup. Right now, I don't see a lot of great pairing partners for the PA. They do have really mobile support duo in the Earth Spirit and the Phoenix. Like, they can kind of attack out of the fog, create an engagement, and PA is going to look to thrive off of that chaos. But aside from how the fight pans out, she doesn't have any other direct buffs from her teammates. She doesn't even really have good aura builders. It's... Whew, I predict a rough PA game.
Mid shaker?
Wind up going back for... That looks like a mid-1 shaker. Hell yeah, let's go.
Ooh. I'm down with the mid-1 shaker, and then you've got, of course, Nisha on the Anti-Mage, Zion the Weaver, Yapsor on the Grimstroke, and that leaves Puppy for the Lich. And then for Thunder Predator, it looks like a ton is going from the mid to the safe lane, going for that Phantom Assassin. Draken on the Tiny, Frank with the Enigma in the off-lane 3 position, Matthew on the Earth Spirit, and then that leaves Prada with the Phoenix.
Old 5-roll Phoenix. So mid-1 shaker, this is something that he likes to pull out every once in a while whenever they have a guaranteed melee hero in the mid lane that isn't ridiculously strong, and I think Tiny kind of fits that bill. They've gotten away with it versus like Dragon Knights and stuff before too. So mid-1 is very well versed on this, and the only downside to mid shaker is that he is still kind of stuck playing around the ultimate, and it's a bit of a longer cooldown, but take some time, get a blink dagger. And you look at these heroes, you think about this PA, she needs so many items.
I just don't think she's going to get the time for those items, too. Usually when you see a hero that needs a lot of farm, like an Anti-Mage, the team around him can make aggressive plays early, and I think you have that with Earthshaker, Weaver, Grimstroke, Lich, where you can use the Frost Shield, you can use the Ink Swell. Earthshaker and Weaver are decently strong in the mid-game, so I think it's another one of those Secret might be able to overwhelm Thunder Predator and force them into fights that they just don't want to take in the early and mid game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how this one goes. Should be slower than the last game at the very least. Maybe a little bit more Dota to watch this time, but maybe not. We'll see.
18 minutes is kind of hard to beat in terms of time, especially not turbo games.
Whoa. Look at that. Whoa.
So what's usually the build here for a mid shaker? Is it just skip the fissure altogether and go like 0-2-2 for your first 4 levels?
Yeah, exactly. You don't need any fissure. You just work with the totem and the aftershock. This I don't think I've ever gotten to witness a anti-mage in a Grimstroke game, but unless I'm incorrect, the Mana Void should also work, so that should be entertaining.
Divine.
Yeah, and that's I think it also with the Lich and Grimstroke opens up niche to maybe being a little bit more aggressive earlier. Sometimes we see these anti-mages constricted to just farming for so long, but when you've got Inkswell and you've got Frost Shield, I think you've almost got yourself enough defense early on in the Frost Shield and having that lockdown where you maybe can get involved a little bit better using that blink to go in with the
30
Inkswell.
seconds to battle.
Yeah, it's like a totally different kind of game. For an anti-mage, getting a chance to actually play aggressive in your lane is so nice. But the Earth Spirit, I guess, again, kind of has a situation where it's going to be hard to get kills onto the hero, much like it was for Yapsor in the previous match, so they might not be able to pressure too hard onto Frank or something. Wow, but does Frank have 6 mangoes? He's opened up a fruit stand. My goodness.
6 mangoes, 6 tangos. And Rolling Boulder. Nisha gets the bounty room, but yeah, he's got the Frost Shield level 1 into the Blink, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's defensive enough. I don't think you really need much more in this lane to start anyway.
But yeah, lanes are indeed what's expected here. So, who needs to pop off here for Thunder Predator? I guess we have to put the pressure on old Draken, on that Tiny. He needs to make a lot of space for PA to actually come online. So, are there enough squishies for a Tiny? This is a pretty good game for a Tiny, honestly. Tiny's gotten to the point where he's picked so often that he often ends up in a game where there's only a single hero that he can burst down by the 20-minute mark or something. Like, we kind of got to this state where people will just keep picking tanky cores the second that the Tiny popped out. But now he gets picked a little bit later, so he's going to try and counter out that Weaver. And he has double squishy supports, which is a pretty rare sight these days, too. So he can instantly combo both Lich and Grimstroke. And we already talked about how important that combo is. So Draken certainly going to be the game winner if Thunder Predator are going to have a chance here.
Yeah, it definitely seems like Lich and Grimstroke are very important to how they're going to play this early game, early mid-game for Secret. So if you've got maybe an early Blink Dagger available on the Tiny, we could see him go into the backlines or, you know, roaming early enough to try and get a couple of kills here. And right away, we see him mid. Draken gets the kill.
Yeah, I think you can definitely call that expected. Like, Tiny should be winning the first 4 levels or so, and this is a thing that happens with the Shaker, right? You might not win the earliest levels unless it's a really good matchup like the DK or something. Tiny is still going to beat almost every melee hero 1v1.
Tossing around mid one like he's already got nags, but it's just the toss back to his creeps and Draken. It's a pretty deadly combo, that avalanche toss. And he's going into the bottle and the boots, treads afterwards. Do we see him go straight Blink, or maybe this is a Shadow Blade game?
It definitely depends on how you're feeling. I would probably aim more towards the Blink. There's not much that's that great against Blink in this game. And then the other benefit of there's also the fact of getting a Shadow Blade versus an AM, so it's a bit tough. Might end up seeing both in the end. Probably Blink first would be my guess, and then Prey on Zai for a little while before building into a Shadow Blade.
That was, again, really rough for mid one as he's forced to pop that salve. He's got the bracer finally, but double damage is just unlucky when you're in Earthshaker hoping to do something against Draken this early on.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
But yeah, Yapsor with Zai over bottom looks pretty decent. Up against a Ton who's already level 3, but so is Zai. Do we think maybe they leave Zai by himself for a little bit, or is he just too vulnerable without this Grimstroke?
I'd like to kill Prada if I was these two. Like, try and force a dive out of him, and then if he ever dares to show himself close to the lane, go after him again. But I guess they just know that it's so hard to commit for a kill onto him that they have to just go after the PA instead. Matthew's now rotated down bottom. He only got 1 level up top. Well, he's about to at least. He's like 1 XP away.
We're thinking
7,
about maybe throwing the Inkswell into Zai. If he's got Shikuchi and Inkswell, that's a pretty deadly combination. Got the Shikuchi.
God, this is so awkward for Matthew. He just has like nothing to do. He's just trying to get level 2. He's like, can a creep die, please? There we go.
There's the Inkswell just keeping Yapsor safe with the Boulder Smash on top of that. Now the Rolling Boulder on forward. And Yapstor dies with mid one dying mid as well, and Prada, he gets traded by Zai.
Yep, he does die last in the end at least, so we got a little bit of XP. But in the mid lane, I mean, Dragon pretty much just walked on him. He's just bullying him, getting that level advantage. Now a full level at this point because he's a tiny. Second kill, and now he gets a haste rune too. Oh my god, the mid one's probably a little tilted. I'd be a little upset, you know? You got a bad matchup and this guy's just pulling out runes.
You can pop this haste, drink from that bottle, and all of a sudden run at you again.
Yeah, like when he's back up, you can actually just kill him.
Nice little move there by Matthew, actually. Just to boulder smash Zai away. Make sure he doesn't get hit by that Inkswell.
I'm not feeling too good about this Thunder Predator offlane, not gonna lie. Frank, I mean, he brought 6 mangoes because he's playing against the anti-mage, so, well, another die there. Bottom is Matthew. Looks like he's dead too, eh?
Yeah, boulder smash comes out, though, a ton. He'll get Zai. Matthew gets traded by Yapstor with the Stroke of Fate. And then Puppy dying to Frank. I'm surprised Puppy dies in that situation.
Tiny was there too. Draken killed him with the haste rune.
Right,
That's the only reason.
There
Yeah,
it
that
is.
makes more sense. He came up for the bounty rune play. Pretty much perfect. Saved the haste rune to help guarantee both bounties. But if you look at this Enigma, like, he's had to spend all of those mangoes. He's now down to the soul ring, and he only has 8 last hits. So this offlane is a complete disaster. They also didn't get any XP for their support too in that lane. So
Nice geomagnetic grip. That's going to silence him a ton, going in pretty deep with the lack of health and only having that stick to get him a little bit higher. But then over top once again, Frank dies to Nisha. So Frank's just got no mana. His life in this lane is just not fun.
yeah, he's got nowhere to go.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
But back to that lane. They might just kill him again here.
Yeah,
honestly.
they're
He's
diving
got
with
mana in
creeps
3
here.
seconds for a frost shield. Yeah, he's just dead. I don't know about this one,
Shields
Frank.
him up. Frank, I don't think that TP was the right idea.
All right, now mid one though. He sees the rune. This time it's yours. Phoenix doesn't have time. Go.
Top tower is under
Okay.
Yes.
There it is. He gets something for his troubles. Getting locked in
It was
that
deserved at this
avalanche.
point.
Oh boy.
Oh my god. What about this bottom? I mean, I'm looking at this bottom lane. It's like, yeah, there's been some deaths and stuff, but this Weaver is 26 and 10 in terms of last. It's actually above the PA, so life is good. And that Enigma and the Earth Spirit are just basically next to each other. Phoenix, well, position 5, has 2 tangos.
Fissure coming out, but Draken's got help nearby, and Matthew and Prada, they're probably going to look to go in on the mid one with the Avalanche coming in as well as the rolling boulder. Echo Slam comes in, and mid one now still needs to run as the Icarus Dive is through to get the kill. So
Yeah,
Echo
that was
Slam
pretty
committed. Ooh,
greedy.
Stroke of Fate just staying alive as Matthew. Yeah, that was ambitious.
It's like, I don't know. At the same time, it's hard to make use of the first Echo Slam anyway, but for the most part, if they're diving on you like that, like, they know you have Echo Slam, so the general rule of thumb is that you have to be pretty damn confident that you're going to actually get the kill, or they've probably worked out that they're not going to die, you know? But, alas, mid one's back at it.
And we're looking for Nisha for a moment over top. They've got 3 heroes here. No black hole as Frank is very far behind, sitting at only level 4.
Dire's top
Oh, hi.
tower is under
It's
attack.
just me and my Frost Shield again.
Yeah, just to run at you,
same
and
time, though.
Frank's hit by the Mana Void and killed off. Yapsor dies mid. They've got the Sinister Gaze on a Matthew with the Boulder Smash hitting on both of them. Puppy getting hit by these Eidolons, and yeah, well, that's to be expected when Phantom Assassin hits 6. Get that first dagger thrown out, and of course crit off it.
And Draken was moving through the river and found Yapsor there on the Grimstroke, so he went down. But I like this rotation. Put the PA in the lane versus the Anti-Mage. My question is, in most of these games, the PA might have a better support to play with, which is not the case here. So I don't know if this is going to work out that well. Nisha's just burning that mana right away. Gets a little bit scared, though.
Maybe a bit more damage than he's comfortable with going after that Phantom Assassin for a second, but salve up. He'll be okay. And again, blinking aggressive, looking for a ton with the Frost Shield on him. We've also got Grimstroke coming in. if they wanted to place that Inkswell, but I just think the Yapsor was a little bit too far behind for them to continue to commit.
Radiant structures are fortified.
And yeah, they'll go for it again. They find the silence, but the Inkswell on top of Nisha. They keep trying to go for the Phantom Assassin. Back and forth they go. 2 more supports here for Thunder Predator this time around.
This is not working out too well, I don't think, for Thunder Predator, just because the trade in the bottom lane is Zai is fully creep cutting. This was a nice play, though, actually. Frank used the Onslaughts to catch the wave.
Ton might be into trouble as the Boulder Smash coming in, as well as the Rolling Boulder. Now the Mana Void hits onto the Phantom Assassin to get the kill. Matthew Rolling Bouldered in. He had the Geomagnetic Grip on them for a second, but now he's the one silenced up. The Inkswell hits. Yapsor gets the kill. 2 more here for the side of Team Secret. But as I say, that
Draken
bottom,
tries the TP in.
Frank. Long TP there.
I mean, Frank's done everything to try and save this tower. He sent Eidolons in behind over here and was pulling the wave. He's been like trying to fight back Zai. He just Shikuchi's behind the tower, and now they're gonna bring PA down here too. But Zai is getting very rich quickly here. And again, Draken goes for those north bounty runes.
If you're controlling those bounty runes, you're probably going to get both, because you don't want to get in the way of Draken. If you're a support and anti-mage, you don't know what's next to him to risk it.
And then in terms of Zai's build, he's still eyeing up the Vlads. Probably going to complete it. I mean, we all know how important Vlad's is. That's pretty much all the offlane role is pick a hero that's going to build Vlads for you.
Which is basically all of them at this point. Or at least
it's not too shabby. I think they don't have an urn, though. I wouldn't mind seeing a Spirit Vessel on this Weaver, but I guess Vlad's is just too important.
Could you see it after, or is that just too late by then?
And I think it depends how much he's snowballing. If he's like gets super rich, like they win a big fight, he might go for it before the Aghanims, but if not, he might just start saving straight for the Ags. I don't know if the Ag, how much burst damage is there? They have a PA. It's like, the question is it enough burst damage that it's worth having the Aghanim Scepter? Because Aghanim Scepter is good against Black Hole, because someone's being holed, you're outside of it, and you're like watching them tick down before you ult them. But against a PA, you might not have time to react to it, and against Supernova, chances are you're probably caught in the Supernova too. So you won't have a good opportunity to actually use the time lapse.
You could potentially use it with the Avalanche Toss comes down, you time lapse as they get the kill on the Yapsor, but the rotations are immediately there to attempt to get a trade. Nisha has the Frost Shield on him, blinks forward to stop Draken from getting away. He's got no more mana. The fissure hits from mid one. Should be able to get this kill. He does a Mana Void. The Geomagnetic Grip is there to silence up the Anti-Mage, but now the Chain Frost goes all the way to Matthew, who will roll Boulder away.
9-9 here. As Prada, he's gonna end up coming mid with a Black Hole here. Frank? No, thought they might try it. But there's not gonna be enough damage unless Attune like instantly TP'd in.
So could the Ags Weaver possibly help with the Avalanche Toss? Like if you time it right, if he's not dead.
It's too fast. Like it's not worth it, right? It's so unlikely that you're gonna be able to save someone from Avatos. At least that's how I would look at it. Like, a lot of the time, your turn rate will hamper you too much.
Smoke out from Thunder Predator. Again, this is what we were talking about. Draken's got the Blink Dagger, so we'll see if this is if this is the snowball that we were hoping to see from Thunder Predator. It's already looking way better than Game 1. So at least there's that. Rolling Boulder with the Blink Avalanche Toss. Geomagnetic Grip. He's got the Frost Shield on top of him, but will be unable to make it out. It's the Orb of Venom that I think finishes off Nisha, as he did get the blink away, but was unable to make an escape. And it's 10-9 for Thunder Predator, possibly looking for more. Frank's up here over top. They've got the toss, and another kill here for Draken for 1-4.
Yeah, nice smoke there with the Magnetize. Would not have gotten it without it, so good to have. Transition into the tower. This kind of looks like Secret last game. Getting that really nice tower. I mean, it wasn't at like 5 minutes, but mid lane, they'll grab another kill there. So that's 3 quick ones across the board. 12-9 now for old Thunder Predator.
Opening up a lot of space for them to do something like this and take these towers. Well, just like you said, exactly the way Secret was doing it in Game 1. Get a pick off here or there, turn it into an objective. It's worth a lot more.
Man, Toon's looking a little scary right now. Top of the net worth, well, he was. Now Draken's overtaken him, but go Draken. Continue to make space. Mid one, the one to do that now for Secret, as he does have the Blink Dagger. So time to make use. He really wants level 12, though. Try and get the second point into the Echo Slam. Jumps from 70 to 90. Pretty big deal. You don't have any real concerns about Radiant going Roche. They don't have the heroes itemized for it. Is that a Veil? Oh, that's a dead item. Don't see that one too often, but about 700 gold away now for Matthew.
Yeah, almost has this Veil. He's been sticking to just that Orb of Venom and maybe some wards. Zai comes over, but ends up going right. They've got the scan through onto the Dire side, but
And they're going to
Smoke
smoke
off
right
that
into it,
too.
too. And that Observer Ward didn't see the smoke, but they can probably figure out what's happening here. We'll see if anyone actually gets caught up by it. Weaver's going to show on that bottom lane. That might help alleviate their suspicion in the mid lane. Puppy will drop the ward down.
And Matthew right into his hands, so they might be able to get the kill with the Geomagnetic Grip as well as the Fissure coming out. There's the Echo Slam on top of them. The Supernova comes out on the side. Matthew dead, Puppy dead, 1-for-1 so far. Mid one trying to get away. The Soulbind was out, but the Sun comes out from the Supernova. Now Atum makes his way into the fight. Grimstroke, Stroke of Fade on the 3 heroes, but it's not enough to save mid one though. Again, Prada. It's a 2-for-2 so far with Zai trying to make a play, but Atum looks over at Yapstor. He's got more than enough damage to take care of him. And Frank, he's looking to set up the black hole, and with the toss, it's an alley-oop into this one. And 4 heroes dead on the side of Secret. Thunder Predator counter that perfectly.
Draken's doing it. He got the execution on the Lich. That's what he has to do. He's making sure that Soulbind combo does not happen. Look at that damage. He's actually top damage of the Grimstroke, too, because of that maxed out on the stroke, but got him good. Thunder Predator. They know what they have to do. They predicted that movement really well thanks to their scan and then hiding in the trees and everything. Matthew kind of tanking the initial engagement from Team Secret. And Secret are still making space for the anti-mage, but when you turn around a bunch of kills like that, that could hold that even.
Get the kill, Nisha. Woo! 50
Yeah.
health.
He's now upped up his counterspell, so they need the Magnetize to get the kills.
Yeah, but you could see that combo just immediately. A Rolling Boulder into a Geomagnetic Grip where you've got that silence out. Avalanche tosses a lot of damage. Maybe if it's, like you said, with the Magnetize or a +1. Could do it, but Phantom Assassin now into the Battle Fury. It is, in fact, before the Anti-Mage gets his, but we talked about how the Anti-Mage is able to farm so well with the fact that he's got this Blink. Just built in.
Instant blow up of our Phoenix there, though. As Zai has gone from the Lads to the Medallion. That'll help them control the Roche Pit.
Avalanche toss. Zai in a lot of trouble, gets the time-lapse off. Now they've got the silence coming in from Yapsor. Boulder Smash hits on the mid one as he's silenced as well, but the Soulbind hits on 2 of them. Magnetize laid down, and they'll get the kill on a Draken looking for Matthew. Inkswell pops right on top of him. He's stunned up. A ton looking for an opening. There's the Stifling Dagger and the kill onto this Earthshaker. Zai now on the run. Shikuchi's and doubles back as the Chain Frost comes in, and the Supernova used on the side. Frank comes over as well. The silence is through onto a ton. Puppy trying to run away, but he won't make it far as he ends up falling. 18-14 in favor of Thunder Predator, and they just eke out a win, technically, in that team fight.
PA keeps living. Life's good. That's what it comes down to, right? If PA can survive, we know PA needs Deso and BKB on top of her Battle Fury. This is an extremely difficult game, but now 6-1-3. Atun's been executing.
It seems like he's engaging in these fights a little bit after they go off. So, like, once those big
Yeah, it's
spells are
perfect.
used, he's perfectly timing, like, where I can just sneak in.
A lot of that's coming from him being off the map, too, where he's just farming a lot of neutrals, not so much on the waves. The use of Blur, too. No matter how much vision you have, maybe you don't know just how close that PA is. And just TPing in, too, because these fights tend to take a little bit of time. They're not really over instantaneously. Frank is caught up thanks to this Midas, one of the last heroes that it's truly viable on. I think most people would say.
After that abysmal start, he looks pretty decent now.
Mid one's got a haste rune, but still not convinced. Now he's going for bots. I think he might be confused and think he's playing Ember Spirit here.
They look just the same. Ember, mid one with the
Pretty much the same hero, yeah.
yeah, with the Earthshaker Ember. I can't tell the difference.
They gonna smoke up same tower in the mid lane. Oh, perfect target, the PA. There she blows. But where is she? Where is this stupid blurred hero? And away. I hate PA. that was like PTSD, man, from all these games. Oh well. She's something else, even without Magnus.
Yeah, I really thought the hero was semi-reliant on the Magnus, but it's also when you make that much space and find your moments to jump into these fights the way Attune has, you're gonna start to get ahead. You're gonna start to hurt. But again, these are fights that have mainly seen Nisha not involved.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
They have been really abandoning that top lane. Like the pressure, they tried to bait out from the tree lines. Like Draken was basically just hiding in the trees the whole time, and now Prada's doing the same thing, hoping that Secret would come defend this tower. But they've just instead been playing on the Radiant side. They don't feel threatened by the ability of Thunder Predator to Roche, and they're quite correct, right? Because they haven't actually built in that minus armor item yet. No medallion picked up. Matthew went for this Veil of Discord instead.
Dire are scanning.
And now it's Secret's turn to see if they're going to defend bot.
Blink into an immediate Echo Slam. Frank, Stroke of Fate comes in from the Yapsor, so one-man Echo, but it takes probably the most omnipresent hero out of the game in that Enigma.
Yeah, it's also going to be just a dead kill kind of deal. They're not going to get anything off of
Dire's
this.
top tower is under attack.
So it feels a little frustrating, but it looks like Zai's a little bit more committed to try and get something. They've placed down this vision back here too, so Zai knows Phoenix is there.
Yeah, Prada right
Might
into
even
his
be able to
hands with the
force out an
Icarus
egg.
dive.
Yeah, I don't think this is worth using your egg. You're way too poor. Yeah.
Oh, wow, he did use it, and they will back off, but that's because they've got Draken coming in from the sidelines. They've also got the rolling boulder in. Draken gets a double kill on a puppy end as well as Yapsor. Now they look over at mid one. The Magnetize on top of the Stifling Dagger, slowing them down. Icarus dive comes through. Draken, just a triple kill.
Dire's middle tower is under
The punish, dude. They got so greedy. It's like you feel like you want to get it done because you used the Echo Slam, but I mean, for one, that Enigma could have just bought back, which is pretty scary. I mean, he didn't actually have the gold for it, but they don't know that. So it's already a little bit risky because we all know early game buybacks are so cheap. I can't believe he went for that egg. That was pretty hype from Prada, not gonna lie. I would not have expected this guy to do that. I'd be like, oh, he's gonna hold that. He wants it for a big team fight, but then they made one.
Stifling Dagger, but the Boulder Smash is a Geomagnetic Grip, and yeah, 3 crits, and it's not gonna matter how much health you have. Attune trying to run away from Zai as well as Nisha. No more mana left on him, but it's not really going to matter. And that, just again, going back to that fight over bottom, that was such a bait. It was a bait and a half. You were like, oh, he's, like, they probably thought what you thought. He's not going to use that Supernova. We're fine. And they don't have vision on this end of the map here.
Yeah.
Or didn't
they
have
had good vision
at
around
moment.
the tower, which is why they felt so safe, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, they'll TP to the tower, and then they just weren't. They're like, okay, this Phoenix is dead, and then that was like the last second he went for the ulti too, so impressive. But now he's on that run again. Does not have the ulti this time. Goes for the TP.
For the Mana Void, as well as mid one just there to make sure that he's unable to get away this time. But meanwhile, over top, Draken gets another kill, 10, 2, and 6.
And Zai was kind of one of the brighter spots for a while in this game, but now 2 back-to-back deaths here. And I still hate this Aghanim's. I don't know. Maybe it'll work out. It's only useful on Nisha, which, to be fair, is going to be how they win this game. So I guess that's fine.
Radiant's
Okay,
bottom
Dragon.
But
tower
it
is
feels like
under
a risky
attack.
item.
Looking for prey. Whoa. Link's the opposite direction. Had he stayed a second longer, he probably would have had a kill right there on Puppy. But right now, Draken like a lion in the wild. Stalking his prey, looking for his next victim. Using this Blink Dagger with the Echo Saber. And now he's going into the Shadow Blade. Do you think it's worth it to go to Shadow Blade after having Blink Echo? Is it...
Yeah, for sure. It just really helps with initiations onto both the Weaver and the AM. And these 2 supports in the Dire, I think they can kind of feel that, Puppy's going to be poor this whole game. But Lich doesn't get a GPM talent. So, game's easy.
Mid one blinked in, but it's Draken going after the support. He'll get the kill. Frank comes over and hits mid one. Has the Midnight Pulse down. This Malefice. Echo Slam comes out, but that's hyper defensive, and now the Geomagnetic Grip comes in. Got the Weaver coming in from the side. The Soulbind hits on the Enigma as well as her Spirit, and they'll get the kill on Matthew. They'll take out Frank. It's the Mana Boy that hits on both of them. Nisha comes in. First hit bash, of course, why not? And the Avalanche on both of them, but it's not going to save his life. Nisha gets a double kill, and they're also looking for more. They find the Phoenix. The Stifling Dagger comes out. The Basher doing so much work for him right now. The Phantom silences up this Prada Phoenix, and now it's just a ton. It could be a full team wipe, but the BKB is getting popped. But no, the Bash! Come on! Did he pray to RNGesus?
Fresh. It is hot off the presses. This Basher just can't stop.
Jesus, extra, read about the Basher. Right off the presses, right into the faces of Thunder Predator.
That is ridiculous. That's like first team fight with the Basher. It just completely mops them up. That Soulbind into the Mana Void. Whew. That was pretty cutesy.
And right into a Roche. You let Secret win a team fight, they're not going to let you forget it.
Yeah, that was not empty. I mean, think about how that fight started too, with the Echo Slam used defensively, but it was essentially the same situation that Secret found themselves in. They dove a little bit too deep for the Phoenix. They kept diving a little bit too deep, despite the ulti already being used, and then they got heavily punished. So, well, I'm looking forward to this. See if Zai can get off some big plays with the Aghanims. Benefits, I mean, you look at it, it's got a huge cast range. So he's going to have to just make sure that he doesn't get targeted down. He's got 1650 HP versus this tiny. So if he gets caught, especially with the Shadow Blade, Zai can get one shot because he doesn't have a hood build because he's gone for this Vlad's and Medallion. So his survivability is very important.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So 24-21, the game changes right off that fight.
Yep.
Look at the graph.
You just feel such a momentum shift.
Oh my god.
All right, gets another bash, guys.
Is under attack.
Inkswell on Anisha. Show over mid for a moment. They'll take this tier 2. You just can't fight into this right now. And
It
with
gets
that,
so scary though.
yeah. With that big of a win, what do? What's your game plan off that? Because you were looking real good to just kind of keep rolling, but what do you do now that you're behind about 10,000 net worth?
I mean, Draken, again, a lot of those early fights looked really good because he was executing well. He was getting that perfect hero. He was getting down the Soulbind or the Lich, but he has to continue to do that, which is, of course, easier said than done. But Secret are only getting stronger. Like, now mid one is kind of a hero. He's almost into that Aghanim Scepter for himself, which completely changes. This is the reason why the Core Shaker works, is that you get to this item, and he becomes difficult to control. He'll have like 2200 HP at that point. And it looks like they agree. They can't really defend here.
Radiant's top tower.
PA is level 20 though with the triple Stifling Dagger. It's a pretty big deal.
They're just gonna show Nisha mid one. I believe the smoke got broken on him. The Boulder Smash ends up hitting him on the edge, but the Avalanche comes out. He's got the Inkswell on top of him as well as the Frost Shield. Continues to go after this tier 3, the Sunray on top of him. And now the time lapse comes out from Zaya onto the Anti-Mage, and he'll just clean up Matthew.
They have the Blink BKB on Frank. They don't have any vision in the back line, so they need to catch both him and Zai inside, though.
And they'll try to go for it with the Avalanche hitting onto both Puppy as well as Zai. Now the Bash onto the Tiny. The Fisher's going to follow it up as well. Mid one, putting Tiny in a little bit of a sad situation as Draken gets killed off.
Frank missed his moment because he's now lost his Tiny. He doesn't have buyback, and he needed him in this fight. Now it's like, what does my Black Hole even do?
Radiant's top barracks has fallen.
The counter spell, just setting the dagger back.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
Love our Spirit back, but no Tiny for 24 seconds. Geomagnetic Grip as well as the Boulder Smash coming out. Stifling Dagger on top of that. You gotta remember he's still got the Aegis, so I feel like they're also trying not to blow the Black Hole on just the Aegis.
Radiant's top
I mean, they can hope that they can crit him to death or something, but that feels virtually impossible.
Goes after the tier 3. Now they'll look towards the back lines. That's going to be a Geomagnetic Grip on Azaya as well as the Earthshaker looking for the black hole, but look at the Soulbind keeping them close together, and now the Chain Frost's going to be bouncing around onto Frank as well as Matthew. They've got the Supernova. They took out the first life on the Anti-Mage. Fissure hits. Matthew in a little bit of trouble. Meanwhile, a ton jumps in, gets the kill on a Pumpy. The Echo Slam on top of Frank, but he doesn't have buyback. So this is a big problem for him. Mid one, Inkswell on top. Fissure comes out. That actually stuns the Phantom Assassin. Nisha looks in for a moment. The Stroke of Fate landing onto the Tiny, and now just finds Matthew to kill him once again. And Nisha just diving in really deep. No longer has that second life.
Full lineup.
There's the toss, keeping him close, and the time lapse again coming out from Zai. Stifling Dagger, and okay, Puppy, you blink and you're dead.
He just fought back too. Hard life, double bracer, not enough to save him, unfortunately.
Nisha will run out a ton. You've got mid one now with the Ags. Oh, just on the edge of that Fissure. Gets the hit. There's the BKB. Is it going to matter this time? Meanwhile, on the backline, Draken gets the kill on a Yapsor. Here comes Frank. Black hole on it. 2 of the time ups on Nisha. Gets him out of harm's way. Mid one jumps away with the Ags. Nisha comes back in, looks over at Frank, gets the kill. Draken at a ton will re-engage into this fight, but did he just get bashed off the Stifling Dagger that bounced off the counter spell? The Fissure hits, and now they'll get the kill onto a ton. Frank's dead as well. The buyback comes in. Matthew trying to walk away, but unable to make the escape. Nisha's got himself a triple kill, looking for more. If he kills Draken, this could just be a rampage. The Stifling Dagger comes out once again, and Nisha impressive just yet, but the Fissure hitting. There's the Avalanche, and the Ags jump in. Draken running away, but Nisha, a couple more shots. The Ultra kill comes in, looks over at a ton, blinks out. Zai right behind him, ready to give him the time lapse if he's in trouble.
Pretty sure that's the one buyback that sends Nisha running, where he's like, all right, I'm not at full strength. I don't feel like messing with both PA and Tiny, so I'll get out. It's 30-minute bounty runes. Team is welcome. Now we're even further ahead, and this is a painful game. There's no doubt if you're playing on Thunder Predator. Because you felt like you were hanging in there at that 24-minute mark. Feels like it was just so close. And then one bad fight, and it just explodes back there. But again, it's because these heroes were just hitting, like, they were building up for so long on these items. Aghanim Scepters on both the Weaver and the Earthshaker. Felt pretty bad before that, but now I love this build at this point with the Solar Crest. Very good item now, especially with something like an Anti-Mage, just because of the buff potential, putting on your own ally and protecting him against that PA.
So, did I see that right? And I don't know if the mechanic works.
Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah.
If the counter spell or the dagger bash.
The spell.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's nice.
I just needed to make sure my eyes didn't deceive me. Because he kind of blinked forward at the same time. I thought maybe he snuck a hit in there. That's... wow.
At least it should work that way. That's how most of them work, so. Pretty nasty. And Nisha tearing up that shrine, the safer one. Dire scanning around the Roche pit. I guess they thought maybe they were going for the runes or something. I'm not sure. Well, Thunder Predator. I mean, you're rolling the dice, right? It's a PA. There's still a chance. Has to go for an MKB. Doesn't have a choice, but is kind of close. Attune might get there for the next fight, and if you look at the net worth distribution, if you kill the AM, the fight is winnable. And they have the heroes that can make that possible. Which I guess, again, harkens back to why we're seeing Zai with his Aghanim Scepter build, because this whole game does rely on Nisha. Once the Echo Slam's gone, there's not a lot of damage coming out from the rest of Secret, especially if, once again, they can't get off the Grimstroke combo with the Lich or the Mana Void. So, it is not over. Even though it's an 18k lead, most of that is tied up in AM. Who does have a DD and is very scary, but it's possible. You know, we got to give possible.
They killed him. I think if they have Black Hole ready, which they do, I definitely think they can take up the Anti-Mage, but the problem becomes, is Zai also available? Because the last time we saw the Black Hole, he just time-lapsed them out of it.
And he's going for the right build too, right? This we see a lot of Weavers do this. They get the Ags, and then after they go for the Blink Dagger, just to ensure that they're going to be there.
They are inside Roche, but this has to be a little bit quicker from Thunder Predator.
Go, Matthew, be brave.
Crest. Oh, it got the kill on a mid one who jumps away, but he's already, it's just a corpse flying at that point. The Rolling Boulder comes out looking for something. The Geomagnetic Grip hits onto 3, but Anti-Mage, he's already cleaned up the Phoenix and goes back in. Frank Oh no, bashed up and dead. The buyback comes out from the Phoenix. He looks over at a ton, gets the kill onto the Phantom Assassin. Draken looks over, trying to kill Yapzor, but there's the bash for the Chain Frost getting around, and mid one coming back in. 4 heroes dead with 1 buying back on the Phoenix. Nisha just showing how much he's worth.
Mid one dies, and you see the rest of Secret start retreating north, but Nisha just blinks towards the Radiant base and catches Prado completely unsuspecting, who just blows up and dies. And now forced to egg as his team abandons him in a scrambled state.
And that will be GG.
Whew. Expected, but hey, credit, I think, to Thunder Predator for the first 24 minutes, honestly. I mean, yeah, maybe Secret kind of gave some easier lanes by giving the Shaker versus the Tiny, but Draken, you know, he did a lot with what he was given, and so did Attune. It was impressive, so... clearly they are outclassed in terms of skill, there's no doubt. It's Team Secret, let's be real, but respectable performance, I think, in Game 2, especially compared to Game 1.
Yeah, they looked like they definitely gave themselves the right opportunity to make something happen, but it came down to that fight where Nisha just blew them up, and you could see it. You could see it right on the graph, where it was just about 28 minutes in, they end up losing a huge team fight. I think they get team wiped in that exchange, and from that point on, you knew it was just in the hands of Secret. So I do credit Thunder Predator for working with the tools they had to what seemed to be about the breaking point. And there was definitely still, I would say, Dota Plus was right, about 10% chance they take that game if everything works out for them. And this is against Secret, a team that everybody, or most people, are expecting to win this major. So yeah, the loss and the getting 2-0'd kind of is not that great. But you also have to look at the positives, and there were a lot there for Thunder Predator if you're trying to break it down piece by piece.
Oh, unfortunately, I can think of one thing that's not very positive, and that's going to be their group. Because the other matchup in this group is LGD versus Forward. So PSG LGD, I know, lost game 1, so there's a chance that potentially they have to face up against PSG LGD in the next match. And if not, then you have to face a team that just took a game off PSG LGD. So that doesn't sound too great.
Yeah, and they're in game 2 right now. It's even 24 minutes in. And we're going to be covering Thunder Predator again as we get the lower bracket best of 3 next. So we could be seeing them against LGD or Forward Gaming. But I definitely could see Thunder Predator coming out with a series against Forward Gaming. If they play it the way they did this game.
Yeah. Unless Rezo can hard carry this game on Medusa, which is possible. I would have to guess that LGD have this one, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, so we'll be back with whatever the next series is. And
it'll be the loser of that. So what is that? Dota Starladder _EN2 to find out who will be playing versus Thunder Predator back here for the next series.
Yeah. So we'll be back with that in who knows how long. If it goes to game 3, it will be a while. Maybe we'll be in chat with you guys, just talking it up, and maybe Forward get the 2-0, and we see LGD versus Thunder Predator. So we'll be back with that. Stay tuned, guys. I got some Photoshop I got to work on anyway to get that next matchup screen ready to go. So, I need some time. Not too good at Photoshop.
Hard work.
It's hard for me. I'm so bad at Photoshop. But we'll see you guys in a little bit. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We have one more best of 3 to go.